Ba, ba, ba. Game time. Roadwarden. We continue. It's been a week since I played this. So, I mean, we get back to it now. We get back to it now. Let's see here. Continue game. What were we doing? Yes. We're gonna continue. Oh wow, that took like no loading. Right. Archive. Right. We had been to... Hello. Trying to get a hold of you about your car's extended warranty. Stop, Knight. Yeah. Okay, so we'd gone through the fucking... What was that place? I don't remember what it was called. Travel? No. I don't remember what the inn was called. Journal? Colors Dell, White Marshes, Old Pegasus, Bandits Camp, Oblivion. What? Where's Ice Cream Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia? Ooh, that sounds cool. I don't remember the name of the Pelt of the North. That's what it was. Pelt of the North. It was like the little inn. We were there last time, and now we're heading off, and we found a ruined village. So standing in front of the gate, you hear no voices, no tools at work, no steps. Dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs. Their fluttering, singing, and squawking is free of worries. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisade. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. The broken gate in the north will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounding an overgrown pasture. Behind the burnt building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. 10 hours before dusk. We're on day 1, 39 days before autumn. I think I might want to search the village and then go back to the inn and then set out for other places the next day. Sounds about right. Let's take a closer look at the gate. The palisade is in good shape and the entrance wasn't even touched by fire. It was torn away, possibly thrown. The amount of used force must have been huge, but you'd expect that it would push the gate into the village, not away from it. You don't see any marks of a dragon bite. A troll could toss such planks, but after so many years, you see no paw prints. A mage? You can't really tell. I'm gonna move forward through the gate. Where do you want to go? I could explore the southwest part of the village, inspect the fields in the southwest, the pasture in the southeast, return to the southern gate. We're going to explore... I'm going to return to the southern gate. I'm going to check the building near the field. The broken logs and planks are charred, while the wooden walls are rotten and covered in moss. You see no ashes or dust, proving that the fire happened long ago. The smell is awful, and there are no reasons to stay for long. You see no furniture, just some broken shelves. It was just a storage room. The valuable odds and ends were already taken by the scavengers. Let's explore the village. The buildings, some of which have collapsed, are made of wood, now charred and rotten. You spot claw marks on the walls, especially close to the doors and window frames. They could belong to a dragonling, or a large wolf larger than the grey ones, or a corpse eater. Too many options to make a guess. Yet no beast remains in sight. You find the remains of clothes, furniture, odds and ends. Only one object seems to be of use, a basket-like fish trap made of vines and willow branches. If a large fish swims into it, it won't be able to get out on its own. It's quite large, but I can fit it on my saddle. You picked up a fish trap. You feel a slight aching in your stomach. Where do you want to go? Ooh, why do I feel an aching in my stomach? I don't like the sounds of that. Why do I feel an aching in my stomach? I'm full. Ooh. That little statement there leaves me slightly concerned, I'm gonna be honest. Let's go to the main square. I don't like... Ooh, I don't like that I feel queasy. In every village, the main square is the fanciest area, meant to charm the travelers. Yet this is way more than you expected. The houses are as big as in Havlavan, and the paved ground took a lot of work and materials. The walls, now charred and riddled with holes, are made of an expensive coated wattle. The tiles for the roofs also had to be brought here from a different settlement. You peek inside the 3 smaller buildings, the rotting remains of their former splendor. The birds, living in dozens of nests, respond to your arrival with quite a commotion. You don't even find a single dragon bone, nor a tool or piece of furniture left unbroken or unrotten. You're surrounded by bad smells, dirt, animal droppings, and garbage. The well also stinks. It has no bucket, but you'd be afraid to use it anyway. Who knows how many birds have relieved themselves inside, or how many old rats have found their death while climbing up the walls. Suddenly you hear something that some sounds coming from the largest building. Your stomach makes it. You let out a painful groan. I should walk away. I'm going to get out of this village. I'm going to inspect the pasture in the southeast. You don't find a single sign of the livestock that lived here in the past. Any bones, horns, or antlers, or dung have already been devoured by the wilderness. The pasture ends at the river. Come, Mr. Tally Me bananas. On the opposite bank, the meadow turns into a thick forest, impenetrable for a rider. What are the chances that a herd of defenseless animals could get there and survive? The breach in the southern fence wasn't made by some brute force. You find axe cuts in the spots that were ultimately broken away. After all these years, there are no tracks that you could follow. The breach in the southern fence was made by some force. I think the people inside, something happened to them and they broke out. Return to the main road. Your stomach lets out a painful groan. Don't you hate when a song is stuck in your head all day? It depends. Why does my stomach let out a painful groan? Let's see here. We're gonna check my inventory. Hourglass, fish trap. It's like toolman to be kept in shallow fresh water. Fish entered from time to time. Best that helps some shaped holders that creature to squeeze through it. In an ideal situation, fish catch themselves on their own while the hunter takes care of their chore. Still, building a fine trap may take even half a day, depending on the size, shape, and used materials. They are anything but permanent. They tend to rot and are often destroyed or robbed by the local wildlife, tempted by an easy reward. Because of this, they are usually seen as a source of additional luxury rather than the main source of food. I'm concerned about my stomach. I don't like that. I think something's happened. Let's inspect the fields. You're surrounded by what looks like a field plowed in late autumn, disturbed by hundreds of rains and snowfalls. There's a few clumps of grass and wheat, but a place like this one, abandoned for years, should have already turned itself into green Lee. A barren field? Maybe it was overused, but you would still expect the weeds to sprout. A curse? The path leading west from here ends in the edge of a forest. A field, shifting into a meadow, then a forest. In the north, you see a path leading around the palisade. I could cast a spell. You know what? I will cast a spell. I use my amulets to sense that there's Numa buried in this place. Yes, I want to do that. You unpack the wooden spheres, pleasantly smooth and light. The entire set fits in the palm of your hand. You place them in various spots, marking their positions by sticking a branch in the soil. All you can do now is wait. So you brush the doll for a bit and make sure the saddle doesn't bother you. When you return to gather your amulets, all of them are much warmer than your skin. The entire field is corrupted, though seeing how there are already some plants growing from it, the spell is fading away. The curse is likely as old as the last harvest. I walk away. I need these amulets to cool off. The closer you are to the village and the longer you stay around, the sicker you feel. The taste of gastric juices hits your mouth. Your forehead hurts. You start to stumble. Sodal, worried by the sight, pokes your head with his nose. I walk far away from the walls. Leaning on your mount, you go outside, keeping your mouth shut. After a few minutes, your eyes get clearer. It may be better to leave or at least stay away from the village for the rest of the day. Ooh. The pain in your stomach slows you down. Where do you want to go? I feel like every step into the village weakens me more. I should return another day. I inspect the palisade in the west. The tracks of human footwear and many, many more ape footprints cover the path formed around the palisade's breach. As far as you can tell, the freshest footprints lead to the village. The wooden stakes spread on the ground are rotten, covered in mushrooms, small flowers, insects, and worms. A good source of animal or goblin food, though you'd expect them to also hunt for the birds and eggs. The meadow in the west turns into a forest quickly. The grasses in the north surround dozens of tree stumps already covered with moss and fungi. Going south, you'll reach a large field, though you don't see any crops. I shouldn't enter the forest, especially not in this area. It's unpredictable. The pain in your stomach slows you down. Where do you want to go? I inspect the clearing in the west. The meadow is lush and colorful, and so dense it's unsafe for a rider. For a couple minutes, you lead Sodal with a rope, avoiding the potential disaster in case of a hoof falling into an animal den. Being forced to travel around the palisade every time you get here is going to be a pain. Most of the tree trunks look similar and have a comparable size. They are most likely planted with the sole purpose of being cut down and used by the locals, though cutting so many trees at once, that alone could provoke the wrath of herds. Such a process should be spread out across a couple of seasons, and you can't be sure that was the case. The west and north of the clearing turns into wild forest. In the east, you see a road leading north. And leave the clearing. The pain in your stomach slows you down. Where do you want to go? I go to the road leading north from the village. You're at the closed northern gate. The neglected road is partially overgrown. You hear a river in the east, separated by the lush meadow filled with crickets and rodents. I go somewhere else, or I take a closer look at the gate. I'm going to look at the gate. Pushed or pulled, it doesn't move an inch. Someone has spread dirt and rocks beneath, both underneath and around it, seemingly to keep the planks stuck in the ground. I go somewhere else. I'm going to head to the river. I want to see what's on the other side of the northern gate if I want to open it. You see a quenching family of boars, some of them brown, some of them black. You consider turning back, but they pay you little attention. After a couple of grunts, they run north. The river is not too wide, yet unusually deep, with banks altered by the locals for decades, if not centuries. The water is cold and clean, yet filled with long plants growing from the bottom. You would rather avoid jumping inside or drinking from it, but you're tempted to at least wash your face, neck, and hands. Dozens, if not hundreds, of small fish are looking for tasty leaves, but also try to avoid their predators. A dance of life, completely unaware of your presence. You suddenly realize there's something else buried among the kelp. A rusty sickle sticking from the ground, a couple of stone axes and hoes. The wooden handles in a large wagon are covered with moss, but you recognize their shapes. Why would someone drop them here? On the opposite bank, a meadow turns into a thick forest, impenetrable for a rider. I turn back. I can spend some time setting up the fish trap, or I can wash myself here. I consider washing myself in the river. The living stream filled with fish and plants won't help you much. The oak ash soap you carry can help you get cleaner. I need 3 pieces of bathing equipment to get more out of this place. I won't get any cleaner here, so I step away. I spend some time setting up the fish trap at the bank. You place the basket on the ground, then grab a bowl and start digging for a few large worms. You bait the stick and push it inside the basket, locking it between the sides, then cover the entrance of the lid. Tying it together takes you a few good moments, but will be easier later on. You attach the entire trap to a bush and push it into the stream, far enough that it sinks entirely. Ha! Hey, sentient. Who knows how long it will take before something large enough swims inside. Still, it would be better not to wait too long, otherwise the prey may die of hunger. Step away. Where do you want to go? You want to travel. You want to travel away from the ruins. You enter the wetlands with their many streams, ponds, and fish. Large birds run and fly between the gray, sparse trees that are covered with moss, mushrooms, and critters. For a human, it may be an unwelcoming and harsh realm, but the overwhelming swarms of insects prove that it's a realm full of life. The danger, with teeth and claws, is hidden below the water's surface. I stay away from the banks. This plant shouldn't be alive. Not without leaves. It doesn't resemble the other trees from the wetlands. It's something else. You get off your horse and prepare your axe. The water is filled with dirt and dead plants, and it smells like an old corpse. The roots are spreading far, breaking through the water's surface. You don't see any saurians in the grasses or on the shore. You approach the table-like altar made of 3 limestone slabs. Limestone slabs. Were these rocks originally as formless as they are now? Or was there a point in time, centuries ago, when they were precisely shaped and decorated by masters of artistry? There's no way to tell. Sodal is peacefully observing the dark grass and slapping flies with its tail. Whatever it is that you feel in the air, it's clear that your companion sees this place through very different eyes. Nom 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 nom. I smile and scratch the bottom of its neck. Go ahead, I'll look around for just a moment. I know there are dark forces hidden here. I ask the bright for a vigilant eye and a bright soul. You bow your head trying to imagine an appropriate ritual. Whenever you start a thought, it runs away, to the sounds of insects, visions of predators, smells of muddy water. You rub your hands, focusing on what's in your grasp, collecting your wits slowly. It takes a few moments, but you start breathing without sensing the stench. You arrange all the chaotic images in a cohesive utterance. Your prayer is brief, but once it's done, you feel prepared. I'm going to approach the altar. There's clumps of dirt in the uneven nicks, fused by years of winds and rain. The bottom surface of the table is dusty, but you don't find any spiderwebs or mold, even though it's a perfect spot for them. The tree roots cling to the altar in many spots. They're firmly attached. You struggle to move them even by an inch. The cream-colored limestone is cold and smooth. I can try to make an offering. I can walk away, or I can use my amulet to detect if there's magic hidden in the altar. Ooh. I'm going to use my magic. You unpack the wooden spheres, pleasantly smooth and light. The entire set fits in the palm of your hand. You place them in various spots, on the altar, next to the roots beneath it, and a few steps away on the boulder. You begin the ritual, after which all you can do is wait. You go for a walk with Sodal, making sure there are no monsters in the vicinity. When you return to collect your amulets, only the one placed on the rock hasn't changed its temperature. The others are cold. The closer they are to the tree roots, the cooler they are, almost painfully so. This is not what was supposed to happen. If the objects are filled with magic, the spheres get warmer. If not, they stay in their original state. But this? You've never seen such a reaction. The cream-colored limestone is cold and smooth. The tree is perfectly still. I'm going to make an offering. What's your sacrifice? Example, food. Let me check my inventory. I do have food. Blood. How much? Just a couple drops from the tip of my finger. Slight cut on the palm of my hand. It will only hurt a little. A deep cut. I clench my teeth and hurt myself quite a bit. I'm going to do just a couple drops. You jab a finger with your knife. The blood flows slowly, and you pay close attention to the moment when it falls on the altar's surface. Each drop splashes in all directions. It disappears. You see no trace of them. I make a slight cut on the palm of my hand. It will only hurt a little. The blood spills on the altar, and it sinks in before it gets to the edge. The tree greets your offering with the sound of moving, stretching branches. You try to ignore the pain and prepare water and bandages to take care of the wound. Try something else. I make an offering. Food, blood, Pneuma. You can't do that, or you... Oh, Pneuma. Pneuma. Ooh. I walk away. I look into the water. Without knowing how deep it gets, you have to consider that a saurian could be camouflaged in the mud, waiting for a victim to get near. Since you don't plan to kneel down and drink, you're hoping to dodge a potential strike. Once you get closer, you start breathing again. While the water is dirty, it's also shallow. You see the vegetation, swimming insects, and even a small fish. All of them stay away from the tree roots, which look like spiderweb covering the bottom of the pond. Aside from that, you don't see anything that would catch your attention. Take a closer look at the roots. You kneel in front of one that's lying on the shore. It's brown, covered with hair that resembles that on your arm. When you touch it, it's moist, soft, and warmer than you'd expect. What do? I want to hit. Blunt hit sinks into its... Revealing the weight returns to your original shape. I want to try and kick it. Okay. I want to try and bite it. Bite into the warm root and start chewing it, but with no results. I'd do something else. Grow up. Thank you. What do you want to do? Kiss the root? Like I said. The root is soft and doesn't resist your touch. It smells not far off than the stench of water which sticks out. You feel its warmth, maybe it's triggering your imagination. After a couple moments, your lips start to itch. And do something else. Chop. Pull out your axe and stop in place. You can't tell what the results of wounding the tree would be. I better spare it. For the altar. Let's give it food. Doesn't seem to make a difference. Okay. Blood definitely did make a difference. I'll make a deep cut. Your blood spills on the altar and sinks before it gets to the edges. The sound of moving, stretching branches occurs almost immediately. I walk away. I'm going to travel. I'm badly hurt. I probably shouldn't have done that. Because I got another 7 hours in my day. Shapes of mountains are cutting through the horizon. The water gets gradually less muddy. The cleaner it gets, the more animals you see. A family of deer blocks the road, resting and enjoying the cold water which would be deadly for a human stomach. You consider riding around them through the sparse meadow, but your presence also causes them disquiet. Without much haste, they regroup and run east to the leafy forest. I travel forward. You've reached Hag Hills, the walls of stone that has blocked the city's grasp. The one well-established route through them leads through the valley to where you found Tuli's camp. There are no maps of the highlands, nor local tribes or stories. Nor local tribes, only stories. The beaten path leads you by the garden beds of herbs and vegetables to an old yet not abandoned mine, hidden behind a massive door made of steel. Now look around, there's no hitching rail for a mount. A bearded, skinny elder sits on a bench observing you like a sculpture, with his legs crossed and fingers interlocked on his abdomen. I will be friendly. Cool day to you. Don't worry about my horse. I'll keep it away from your garden. Only worms too stupid to understand me would eat what's mine. You dismount and mention that your palfrey is no worm, but the man reprimands you with a thick accent. Let me see you while you speak. I cannot hear without magic, but I'll read your lips. He doesn't yell, but his voice reminds you of a combat instructor from the city. His face is wrinkled, but he sits straight, with beard and hair still carrying glimpse fair blonde. He's tanned like a worker, and his eyes are blue and piercing, as if they belonged to an infant. You're nae from here, and I will nae welcome a stranger in this refuge. Say what you're looking for and be gone. I explain who I am. What do you call him? I will call him Elder. He stares off across garden beds, forcing you to wait in silence. The Elder is tall, with long hair and a beard that was let loose a long time ago. His sandals are covered in dust, and you spot dirt on his clothes and skin. The woolen tunic and linen were made with care, decorated with colorful threads at the collar and sleeves. Now all the blues and greens have faded, and the fabric is held together by patches and stitches. His hands are still folded. The voice remains firm. You do know nothing of our customs, your name, your trade, your calling mean nothing to the forest. I do not know what you expect to find here, but this is not a place for strangers. I wait for him to look at me. The man stands up and approaches your palfrey. Without touching it, he observes his eyes, mane, stomach, and rear. Sadal ignores this examination. My nose was right, then. Astarion is dead, as are his plans. Such is the fate of all dreamers. He turns towards you with a grim look. Are you going to look for him? You nod. Why? If he's vanished into the fogs, that nigh is the point of putting yourself in danger. What do you expect to find? He may need my help. I need to know what kind of danger he encountered. If he's dead, I want people to know about it. If someone tried to make him disappear, there's no reason why you need to know that. If he's dead, I want people to know about it. There's a playful glint in his eye. And you just want the truth for its own sake, with nigh gain behind it? His laughter is chilling. I heard he'd put his hands into many storms, which will nigh end without him. I no doubt people will value the knowledge. He pauses for a moment and looks away. The peninsula could use some honesty. With lively steps, he heads toward the spring. He washes his hands, once again forcing you to wait. Well, people need times to gather their thoughts, or he dictates the pace of the conversation. He tries to dictate the pace of the conversation, put me in my place. His voice is cold and confident. So what do you need? I know how I should have addressed you. I want to fix my mistake. Have you met Astarion? What can you tell me about this place? How can you survive? What can you tell me about the peninsula? I've heard about some bandits. Were they bothering you? Can you tell me anything about the altar? I want to know what happened to the village in the east. What can you tell me about the druids? Seems like the path of the hard ones is quite dangerous. I'm looking for a job. When I enter the cavern, I need a place to rest. Can you met Astarion? He wanders among the garden beds from time to time, touching the leaves in his hand. He was here more than once. He was now one to stand aside and let events play out by themselves. The villagers from the north are sometimes in need of my assistance, and Astarion was serving them as a messenger. He bends down and tears away a small flowerless plant. He wanted to settle down among these roads, maybe to live freely. He had great plans and wanted to make this realm flourish, to rebuild the ruins, get rid of the brigands, and clear the trade route. I told him that the forest needs more people. Needs now more people, and that this realm is too wild to feed and clothe everyone. His greed and dreams have eaten him. Now he is no more. He pauses, and you can hear his heavy breathing, as if he's getting tired. He straightens up. I'm not a sad traveller. If you want to look for the shell, try over north, far north. People there should know where he is. I'll do that. I know how I should have addressed you. I want to fix my mistake. I've heard about some bandits. Were they bothering you? He strokes his beard, but then grasps it nervously. There are souls who steal from the White Marshes, a village in the north. They would ne'er dare show up here, but those brigands are brute simpletons. Even their leader, Glacia, listens only to force, and will humiliate for the enjoyment of her band. She will ne'er be afraid of some lost Roadwarden. He's stroking his beard. He lets go of his beard and lowers his head. She's drifted so far away from her old self. The kind, bright girl from Gale Rocks, loved by her parents, but now, do not cross her or she'll find you. What does it mean? I know how I should have addressed you. I want to fix my mistake. I don't know what that one's supposed to mean, so I'm not going to do it. Can you tell me anything about the altar? He smiles. 'Tis the tree that you should pay attention to. The true gift from the forest. It answers to our offerings and rewards us with its magnificent fruits. They heal both shell and soul and make anyone who eats them stronger than they ever were. We gather around this altar whenever the winter ends, and whilst it requires a painful sacrifice from all of us, it prepares one soul for a future like Nathan ever could. I want to know what happened to the village in the east. And I'm willing to tell you that. He raises his chin and his beard shakes. That shameful tale ought to be kept in the past. Oh, I'm now willing to, for the sake of the living. What can you tell me about the druids? He strokes his beard gently. I will never share our past with strangers. We are the people of Howler's Dell, and of the lands around it. I know how I should have addressed you. What do you call him? Druid. You do not understand the sound of the forest. You're as deaf as these rocks. You want to build bridges, but for you they're just structures, owned and used by humans. Prove that you're ready to learn our customs and the bridge will grow on its own. I'm looking for a job. He looks at the garden beds. We have everything we need. Seems like the path of the Harderwood is quite dangerous. It is a long and dark past in order to cut many souls of the builders. It is paved with blood, and the last 10 years have revealed it was all for nothing. Since the days of he glances at you, once again surprising you with how shiny and lively the blueness subsides. Of grand discord, the tribes of the land are locking themselves in their fields and houses, too afraid to leave them behind, too entrusting to meet other souls unguarded. 'Tis nay the first road to be claimed back by the wilderness, and will nay be the last. You ask if he has any tips for you on how to survive such a trip, and he tells you it would be wiser to just avoid it. He then reaches to his pocket, grabs a leaf, and puts it in his mouth, chewing gently. Death may take many paths to a stranger, but cats are the one enemy that's bound as dangerous in its stealth as in combat. No human can fight it alone. If you see one of them, and it's too late, do not provoke it. Make it wary, but never be scared. Look big, talk a lot, see it action in its eyes. What can you tell me about this place? How can you survive this place all by yourself? What can you tell me about this place? Your eyes see what there's to know. People found copper in a cave. It's been abandoned for a long time now, so we turned it into a shelter to stay close to the sacred tree and its altar. We're servants, May and my wife, and I. And this place is nothing more than a servant's house. How can you survive being all by yourself? His raised voice makes him sound like a preacher. One day, me and my wife will be but defenseless old people, but we study Numa and leaves for many decades. I heal wounds and illnesses of humans and animals alike, and beasts listen to our whispers. The holy seed lets our shells wait for death and strength. Can you tell me about the peninsula? Khan? I've lived here for almost a century. Traveled both by paths and through the wilderness. His voice becomes stronger and makes you think of a bard. But I will nae be your guide or a teacher, if in anything's I can wish for. 'Tis that you will stay away from the woods. The creatures get angrier the more we take from them. They daren't listen to our warnings, and one day they'll bury us under a storm of fang and claws. There will nae be a soul to spare a tear after us. His eyes are harsh as hawks, making him look like a priest who hears a child asking for honey on a day of ceremonial fasting. Do nae poke the hornet's nest. Do nae ride east, and never use the path that runs through the heart of this land. That road was meant to save time, but brings only death. Be a servant and an observer, and do not try to bind this place to your will. He points at you and wags his finger after every word. Your will, anyone's will, is the key to danger, nay salvation. I thank him. These instructions are in line with my own thoughts. He's observing your lips. Do you need anything else? Can I enter the cavern? I need a place to rest. Why would I know a stranger to do such a thing? I shall call him friend. Interesting. Let's travel away from here. Let's see, an hour. Where's our fishing spot? An hour 15, 2 hours. We are 6 hours before dusk. I do want to go back to the inn to rest. You slow down. Among the shrubs, a small pack of dragonlings is feasting on the carcass of a grey auroch. One of them, with red feathers on its arm, straightens up and gives you a curious glance. Its head tilts left and right, forward and back. It screeches at you, but doesn't move forward, and returns to its meal. You wonder what would happen if you were on foot. Would they let you be satisfied with their prey? Or would they run after you? But if so, for what reason? For now you have enough space to move forward and stay safe. The powerful jaws break the monster's bones loudly, then bite off and swallow chunks of meat. I ride forward, but I keep my distance and look over my shoulder. The beaten road serves your palfrey well. The forest to your left becomes sparse and brighter, and there are dozens of human-made paths among the fruit-bearing trees. On your right, there's a large pasture, with at least a dozen massive mufflins. 2 of them already sheared and look comically small. Soon after that, you ride along the vast flourishing fields ripe with rye, still green, preparing itself patiently for the second harvest. The path ends with a massive wooden gate. The stone wall separating you from the glow of lights behind it isn't as tall as the roofs, but you can imagine climbing to its top. There are pretty much no cracks, no missing bricks, a sign of many hours of labor, especially considering how massive the settlement is, as wide as a city district. The birds and monkeys are now just a distant echo, replaced with sounds of carts, running, hammers, saws, laughter, and shouts. Finally, maybe I can rest here. 6 hours before dusk. Day 1. Howler's Dell. It might behoove me to rest here. A young man is leaning against a closed gate covered by its shadow. He's young, tanned, and has a short, elegantly trimmed red beard. Beneath the green gambeson, he wears an expensive tunic decorated with colorful trim. From his arm hangs a steel helmet, though the metal is so thin that it's mostly made of wool and leather. He moves into the light and takes on the posture of a disciplined soldier, not a mercenary. He's standing upright, with his chin up. There are 2 weapons on the ground leaning on the wooden beams of the gate, an axe made of steel and a wooden club. He doesn't reach for either. You dismount slowly, with not much vigor left, so Dell holds its sail high. A narrow path leads forward two field workers, one with a hoe and one with a pitchfork. They wave to you. You can't see their faces, but their clothes are simple. The gray pants and vests made from hemp and wool. I wave back, why not? They talk for a bit, looking toward you and pointing at your mount, then walk away, disappearing behind the wall's corner. The guard smiles, yet avoids your eyes. He has to clear his throat before he speaks. Welcome, traveler. If you're not here to make trouble, Howler's Dell welcomes you. We have the widest flower there is. When he bows, you realize it's a well-practiced performance. If it's new garments you're looking for, you can order everything you need right here in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Capes, boots, vests, robes, or if you're yourself a master for the needle, I can assure you we have the fabric you're looking for. His act is over and he glances at your mount in a moment of silence. His eyes get wider as he observes it with a childlike fascination. This is Sadal. It helps me patrol the roads. You can pet its side if you want, but no sudden movements. He follows your instructions, even though your palfrey pays no attention to the man's careful touch. The guard grins widely. I'm Silas, your new road warden. I want to see your mayor. A city folk, aye? The mayor's busy. But I ask her. Give us a moment to let you in. He knocks at the gate, which is then pulled inwards by 2 other guards, a man and a woman, wearing their own gambesons, similarly green, but tailor-made to match their figures. The nearby buildings are simple houses made of wooden beams and covered with thatch, while the storehouse is even more modest, with a roof made of planks. The watchtower has a ladder made of ropes and sticks, no stairs. Just give me a moment. The guard strides away before he finishes his last word. The others close the gate behind you and observe your mount carefully. Your eyes run east to a humming creek running through the center of the village. I'll wait for the return of the messenger. Calming sound, eh? That's Howler's Creek. The guard, like most of the locals, is startled in you. Why, but shallow. There's not even a flood in years. Pa told me there used to be now bridges. Neighbours crossed it with their boats in their hands. And 'tis clean like a raindrop, but there are nae many fish. Oh, that was the woman who was talking. We're the cleanest village in the north, her companion chuckles brightly. When the guard returns, he's still alone. Shanae can come now. A friend of mine is in labour, aye? The mayor wants to be there when the child arrives. But I was told to show you the village. I nod. He approaches the watchtower. Die your mount here. We'll keep the kids away. Most of the neighbours are getting ready to celebrate. Once you're done, he grabs the rope ladder. The view from up there is gorgeous. I climb after him. Even though the ladder swings in all directions, the guard gets to the top quickly, like a monkey climbing up creepers. You, on the other hand, need to stop and wait for the ladder to calm down. When you join the man at the wooden platform, you're a bit dizzy. He's leaning on the wooden parapet, observing the area with a smile. Look around. See, there's nae place like Owler's Dell. The guard points in every direction, giving you no time to contemplate. For the next few minutes, he describes the fields and their crops, the flocks and the pastures, and the shepherds inspecting the fences, the ancient garden of trees and bushes, larger than the village itself, the sunlight dancing on the stream to its own tune. If you were to believe everything he describes, the place has access to everything in abundance. The sweetest honey, the most fragrant bread, the softest wool, and the beer, 'tis excellent. He sounds like a city merchant who's trying to sell an old house. What an annoying kid. Near Hovlavon, you could find 5 larger and richer settlements in less than 2 days. Or no wonder he's so proud. Why wouldn't he be? They've tamed this scrap of land and live in comfort. I like that one. The islet in the middle connects both parts of the village. According to the man, the northern gate is hardly ever opened, as it leads nowhere now. Near the eastern gate, there's the Ape Ale Inn, where you can find a bed and victuals. And there's the stall where Achanos rewards our work, unless we annoy him with pointless talk. He lets out a chuckle. Ooh, Achanos. Pointless. On the opposite side of the creek, there's another white house. It belongs to Bjorn, the best clothier in the north. The priests live in the southeast, near the wall, but they dinna talk to strangers. You also hear about the hunter, the cooper, the fisher, the miller, the pie maker lives with his sister, the baker, the smith and her husband, the carpenter live with their kids. Some of the larger buildings can accommodate 2, maybe even 3 generations at once. There could be more than 100 dwellers here. You consider stopping his speech, but he suddenly points at the islet again. There, see, the mayor's coming, the one wearing purple. You're free to join her now, traveler. I nod and climb down. I try to get down quickly, but 2 steps are enough to make you sure that it's a bad idea. You wait for the ladder to find its balance. You relieve when you touch the ground again. You untie your palfrey and follow the guard. You pass a small pasturage surrounded by a wooden fence, a few loose chickens, and a tethered boar. The fancier buildings are covered with whitewash coating and surrounded with vegetables, herbs, and flowers. The bridges are wide enough to carry even a wagon, but for Sadal, walking on the wooden beams is far from pleasant. The islet is empty, but you notice an empty stall painted with the shapes of colorful flowers. I walk over the second bridge. Along the entire path, you notice more and more people observing you, smiling, or casually greeting you as they're focused on their own tasks. Finally, you reach the main square. A large tree grows in the center, surrounded by dark water, held together by a thin wall, perfect for sitting. But the smell coming from the liquid makes you think of rotten eggs. The plant reminds you of the tree you saw in the south, next to the swamp altar. In the north, you see the Ape Ale Inn, judging by the tables, stools, and benches outside of it. It's open for guests. The villagers are chatting and dining loudly, and you catch their curious glances. Outside, on the side of the dining area, the merchant is arguing with a tall, broad-shouldered worker. An old man is sitting by himself, eating a pie with a walking stick against the table. A young woman is cleaning the empty mugs on the creek, speaking with a man at least twice her age, maybe her father. I need a spot to tether Sidel. There's a wide wooden roof next to the gate that shelters carts, crates, and sacks. You move your mount next to a donkey, to a beam placed here just for this purpose. Without a moment of hesitation, Sidel starts to chew on the nearby haystack. You have some time to make sure it doesn't struggle with your bundles. You return to the inn. I look for the mayor and approach her. She's sitting on a chair with a 4-year-old boy on her knees. She's holding his hands gently, showing him how to eat gruel from a bowl. It's not a cheap meal, though. You spot nuts, berries, and milk, and the added honey makes it yellowish. The kid is clean and quiet, and once he notices your arrival, he crams his mouth with a spoonful of oats. Now, love, the mayor titters. Didn't I get distracted? She rubs the meal off his face. A few more spoons and you'll go help Papa in the kitchen, eh? She gives you a radiant, though apologetic smile, and turns her attention back to her companion. Observe her more closely. Her long, full-sleeved linen dress must have been dyed once blue and once red in order to achieve its dark, fancy purple, which would draw looks even in Hovlevan. From her left shoulder hangs a green woolen cape, as thin as a shawl. The brown belt on her waist has a large steel buckle that portrays running deer with unrealistically large antlers, growing in all directions like tree branches. Unlike her tribesfolk, she's pale, with powdered and ruffed cheeks, and her lips match her outfit, though they're a bit closer to wine red. The thick, gray strands in her long, blonde hair look more like a fashion choice than a result of aging. Her eyes are the color of her cape, keen and vigorous. She's shorter than most people around, though would still be the tallest woman in most of the northern settlements. While she's around 40, her slim hands add fragility to her appearance, even though her posture is upright, her legs confidently crossed, and her delicate voice assertive. She makes plenty of gestures, but her shoulders hardly ever move. I'm really hungry for some reason. What the fuck? Give me just a moment, chat. I will be right back. Oh, I need a snack. Okay. I'd eat chips if I had chips, but no, I don't have any of those. What I do have is I got some crackers here. I got some peanut butter. That is what we're going to have. Crackers and peanut butter. I also have a banana. So let me try, actually. I'm gonna see what this banana is like with something I haven't done before. My kids seem to like peanut butter banana sandwiches. So I'm gonna put some of this peanut butter on a cracker and take a bite of banana with it. I'll wait for as long as it takes. After a few more minutes, the boy lets out a gentle cough. And after a pat on the back, the mayor puts him on the ground. You did a great job, love, but now I need to speak with our guest, darling. Hmm. 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 She addresses one of the inn workers, a girl close to 15. Take him to father, will you? Her tone suddenly gets firmer, leaving no hint of a suggestion or question. Yes, Ma, she responds. Hmm. Hmm. Well, her hair and her eyes are nothing like those of her brother, and neither of the kids resemble their mother. So we have a Roadwarden again. Please, sit down. She vaguely shows you the palm of her open hand, letting you pick any place you want. Since I'm her guest, I sit on the bench next to her. The flowing water hits silently the rocks and wooden stakes surrounding the aisle, then splits into two stream beds. In Hovlevan, the river is surrounded by tall walls, protecting the banks from deterioration, and the water is seldom free of dirt. Here, the smell's as fresh as it would be in the woods. The mayor observes your outfit carefully, at first looking as if she just ate an onion, then puts on a polite smile. Once your eyes meet, she hardly ever looks away. I'm sure you're hungry. Ma husband will bring us something soon. I appreciate it. Hmm. 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 Don't mention it. Hunger makes me peevish, and the day's too nice for that. She taps her chest and looks at the flock of birds that fly above you loudly. Heading south. As we're waiting, be so good as to help me understand something. Even if you're but a mercenary, I cannot imagine a single reason for you to choose this realm for your wandering, not so long as after Astarian's disappearance. That's not glory nor treasure to find here. Her pale fingers form a tent on her stomach, then clasp, leaving the forefingers pointing at you. You're sent here by the merchants. They want the peninsula. Present their interests as an opportunity. Hmm. You introduce yourself and touch on the more obvious sides of the potential deal with the Guild in the city itself. The troops, their pay, and the patrols they would establish. The overview of taxes. Trade routes would bring a new life to this place. You try to sound warm. It's a win-win. Throughout your speech, the mayor observes you patiently, without interruptions. I see, she finally responds. As she observes your palfrey, she twists her deal buckle left and right, left and right. If it was that simple, I'd be eager to applaud, but it never is that simple, is it? Her eyes fill up with melancholy despite her smile. I appreciate that you're coming with a carrot, not a stick, but when it comes to the guild, there's always a catch. Her accent is now almost identical to the one used in the city. You're speaking from experience, I assume. Do I really sound that confident? She titters and waves her hand by her chin, as if you just offered her a compliment. I've seen such negotiations during my studies, though I can't say I took an active part in them. Let me show you an example. She actively clears her throat, patting her chest with one hand and covering her mouth with another, then leans forward and rests on her elbows, allowing her hands freely to make gestures. You make a deal with the settlement, flour and wool in exchange for coin and tools. You send the first traders and they imply that you're ready to pay more. Let's just say for parchment. Months later, you want no more rye, just the parchment and wool. We cannot butcher any more mufflins, the locals say. Don't worry, you answer. We'll send you a small flock. Just turn one of your fields into a pasturage. She pretends to speak as different characters. Her voice comically shifts. I encourage her with a kind smile. She swings her hands above the table. Another year goes by, and while there's more parchment, the village lacks some crops. The tribe needs not just tools and coins, plenty of coins, but also seeds, and the guild is not satisfied. Sending our wagons costs a lot, and there are more highwaymen now. If you want us to come again, you need more mouflons and to sell us their cheese. And guess what? With a haunting laugh, she straightens up and spreads her arms like someone a third her age. Turns out that the villagers can't say no anymore. They lack supply, seeds, and land. They can't refuse. I nod, she's right, and it's better not to say anything stupid. Yeah. The pause doesn't linger for long. I see we understand each other. Let's finish the introductions. Theus, one of the keepers of the Ape Ale Inn, and the mayor of Howlsdale. I assume it would be convenient for you to take my answer back to the Hovlavon? She wanders for a moment. Say, when could we expect the first caravan? After winter? Depends on what you can sell, and what you want in return. While the conversation goes on, the food gets served. The refreshing aroma of roasted mutton covered with a thick sauce, made of mint, parsley, and honey, tempts you to bite it right away. The juices are sinking into the round trencher, a plate made of simple brown bread. There's also a small bowl filled with chopped red radishes and a sliced boiled egg, and a mug filled with cooled buttermilk. It's all brought by a few young people, all of them referring to the mayor as their mother. And in the end, the innkeeper himself shows to wish you a good meal. He's wearing a clean orange tunic, and not so clean apron made of hemp. He politely introduces himself as Eric's, and after confirming you won't get sick from what he prepared, he leaves you with his wife to your conversation. Elias tears into the meat into smaller pieces, then eats slowly, often expressing her enjoyment with a hum. Meanwhile, we get to important stuff. Sounds like the nearby ground is fertile. The village would gladly pay its taxes in grain and vegetables, with the expectation that a squad of soldiers would provide additional protection. Our youth is strong, she claims proudly, so we don't need your guards on our walls. But a lone Roadwarden won't keep the roads passable. We need fighters willing to patrol the paths, maybe even the heart of the woods. That's what we'd expect in return. You're not an expert when it comes to linen, cheese, and wool. The mayor spends a good couple minutes describing the outstanding quality of what the village has to offer, especially the clothes, which are meant to be as unique as those made by Master Crispus. You vaguely recognize the name of this tailor shoemaker, but you've never earned enough to pay him for as much as a single sleeve. Now, of course, we will never reject from steel and bronze. We lacked alloys for sickles and size. Can you repeat your question about starting a trade route? Truth be told, the guild's not sure what the peninsula has to offer. It's going to take more than your village to convince them. Give me one moment. I need some milk. That's better. Oh, there we go. understandable, but you won't find much in the other tribes. They have barely enough to survive, even after they trade for our crops, for we have only decent soil in this realm. At least the peoples of Gale Rocks have salt and barrels of fish, while Creek sells meat and wood. Actually, if you haven't been in Creeks yet, the farthest village in the northeast, you could give them a chance, she nods with a smile. They could use our help with keeping the roads safe. White marshes, on the other hand, as well as old Pegasus, are close to worthless. For a trade out, that is, she clears her throat. After these words, she stands up, walks to another table, and offers her trencher to an elderly man who sits there by himself. With a trembling voice, he thanks her, then starts to chew on the soggy bread. She sits down, wipes her hands into a clean cloth, adjusts the folds of her cape, and once again crosses her legs. So tell me, Silas, how's Hovlavon? I haven't gathered much news since the invasion. You say humble. Oh! No, God! Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! Oh, God, milk! Milk! Oh, fuck! No! No, I'm an idiot! Oh, fuck! Ah! No! Oh, I'm covered in milk! Oh! Why are there no fucking paper towels? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh no. Oh, help me. Ah! No, not on the keyboard. No. Oh, shit. Fuck. Ah. Oh dear. Okay, let's put that there. Oh, not on my crackers. Oh man. No, it's everywhere. I got milk. Oh fuck. Okay, a little bit on my keyboard. That's not good. Just wipe that off here. Yep. Oh boy. Okay. Ooh-wee. Yeah, let's put that there. No. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. I accidentally took a screenshot of the game. Full screen. There we go. Okay, pick up my peanut butter. Oh, fuck me. Oh shit, I enabled 10 minutes of follower only mode? How the fuck did I do that? What the fuck? Okay, well, I don't have the time to figure out what the fuck that means. How to turn it off, so that's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. You're a follower, Nightwing. I think. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Fuck. I spilled. Okay, so Context. I was about to move my mouse over to grab something, and I knocked over my cup of milk that I'd placed down in a place that I didn't realize how dumb I was being about it, but I placed my milk down where I couldn't see it because you know, I had my mic was between my milk and my face, and so I didn't really notice that I'd placed my milk in such a precarious point and then, well, knocked it away with my hand. Oh my god. Okay, these crackers, I need to take them out and put them in a container because they kind of soak the thing that they're in. Oh my god. There's so much milk. So much milk on the floor. I got it on things. I need to get some water, I think, to clean up this mess properly. Because you don't want milk going bad in there. You don't want to have spoiled milk like lying around that you haven't properly cleaned up. Oh god. I can't believe I've done this. Oh, I made a mistake. Alright, let's continue this. Like a bucket or something. Oh boy. Okay. I've obtained a wet cloth with which to properly wipe down all of my surfaces and this peanut butter. Okay, let's wipe down my chair. There we go. There we are. Yep. And the chair legs that got milk. Wipe down the floor where all the milk happened. And this whole area. There we go. Alright. Alright. Okay. I think we've almost cleaned up my disaster area. God. Now let's look at my keyboard again. Let's see here. Yeah. Looks like it's okay. Oh, I cannot believe Cannot believe I did this. Oh. Okay. Goodness. Now let's just put all this stuff in the laundry. Okay. Disaster averted. And I even have my exercise pants on the floor here nearby. I can put those on because I had to. So I knocked over the milk onto myself as well. So my pants absorbed a fair amount of that. I mean, now that's all taken care of. Ugh. Let's see. How do we want to talk to her about how things are going in Hobblebon? Sometimes better, sometimes worse. Not everyone has their own bed, but the new generation is ready to start their own fight. It's far from great. Children who lost their parents during the war have no trade in hand. There's not enough settlements to send them away. Many people are unable to prosper. I think we'll take the middle ground. I was afraid it was lost to hunger. Patroclus trimmed with scorn. Good to know I was wrong. When the invasion started, some merchants were cheering in their houses, happy that they would sell all the blades and food that they had stored. And you believe it? This panic will make us rich. She imitates the voice of a pompous man. That's why, when the southerners reached the villages, they found almost nothing to eat, she sighs. Staying in a remote peninsula truly can be a blessing. Can't change the past. How can we help you, Silas? I was in the ruined village south from here. I don't even want to think about their tragic fate. No one can negotiate the wrath of the herds. Long pause. And I better not find you upsetting my neighbors with these sad questions. There's a challenging time for us all and a wound we won't forget. Ooh. Stares you in the eyes and turns towards it all. Is there palfrey a mare? We have 2 jacks. Could use some mules. Stallions won't give you anything stronger than a hinny. So I've heard, as I wander over the square, this small donkey bellies bring weak offspring to horses. Pale fingers reach for her own stomach. When her eyes turn to you, they retain their sharpness. I'd rather avoid long talks about that man. Let him remain as part of the past spring. As you're talking about him, I can only assume he was indeed sharing his goal with yours. He totally fucked her and put a baby in there. I won't deny that we shared a goal. You're already different from him. I like it when the travelers don't try to sell me bluegrass. His words were stronger than his deeds, and he is no longer welcome here. Ooh. What are his wrongdoings? If you have to know, he failed and won't get a second chance. He was meant to escort Aegidia, a daughter of mine, to her betrothed in Gale Rocks. She was a great archeress, and the road from here to the coast is not that dangerous. When they saw goblins on the road, he offered her to push through, right into their trap. She touches her deer-shaped buckle. They get jumped like a bunch of wealthy pilgrims. A Roadwarden worth their gruel should know better. He can fight with a blade, but my girl, she never had a chance. She sighs and looks at the gate. He disappeared soon after his pitiful attempt at apologizing to me, and we closed our doors behind him for good. And I'll let you know if he ever tries to return. Did you ever find your daughter? With the fogs now. The goblins were after food, so they carried her shell away. One day she's going to charge at our walls, awoken and empty. Even though she was a bit mawkish, her heart was strong and patient. She listened to people, was ready to help them and cry with them. I could tell you stories, but what for? Let the dead rest. You have quite the big family. She tittered weakly. At one point, there were 12 kids living in our house. 9 girls, 3 boys. They come and go, as it should be. A few are already with the forest. But most are all grown now, even started their families. She looks away, then a girl wiping spilled milk with a cloth. To be perfectly clear, they aren't exactly our children. It's a custom of our village for the mayor to look after the orphans. Thankfully, Eric's has a big heart, and much more patience than I do. Ah. Why did you let him leave? You didn't do anything forbidden. He was simply stupid. But this isn't Hovleban. We have no rich folk to dread. Who treat with others fairly? Lost in her thoughts, she rubs the neckline of her dress. One good thing I can say about him is he didn't try to justify his decisions or to avoid the consequences, but I'd rather have him prove first he can do what's asked of him. Alright. I have no idea where I can look for him. Chester Cape with an annoyed shrug, asking for him in the north. He spent most of his time between white marshes, Gale rocks, and creeks. Here, he wasn't that eager to share his plans. Alright, so that I wonder, back in Hovleban, did you spend any time in Backwood Corner? It used to be this dark, dirty alley with muggers working, even in daylight. I stayed there with Octavia, the miller, in exchange for doing chores for her. She had this small wooden hut. Since the war, even the soldiers have avoided that street. People say it's a home for thugs. You wouldn't recognize it. It's now a respectable street, with one of the fanciest in the city, the Apple and the Boar. It would make you feel like you're in the old days. The Boarhead Inn is almost 50 years old now. There's no such street anymore, and it fell to a great fire. I feel like I'm planting lore here now. It make you feel like you're in the old days. You explain that while the place is still called the bad part of the city, the Boarhead makes a good coin selling beer and ale to students, mercenaries, and adventurers. The whole land may turn wild one day, you quote one of the traders, but Backwood Corner will stay the same. She sighs with relief and puts her left hand on her hip. Comforting, don't you think? But there are these places, these dark corners where you can always find what you expect. Living there, though? That sounds awful, and always was. She chuckles. I bet the thugs of my youth are no longer around, so I wouldn't count on them giving me a free pass. But I wish I could have a chance to drink a mug or two with the innkeeper once more. The old lady was always too good to stay in that muck. I was in Pelt of the North. When you mentioned the raids in the northern villages, her eyes narrow. Are you sure? It's the first I've heard about it. Glaucia has been around since years back. But she's not much of a nuisance. I'm just a messenger. He's asking for you to join forces with him. Well, I can't give you my answer. I won't ask our hunters to endanger their lives in the pursuit of some gossip. I could ask around, learn more about this. She sighs with exaggerated relief. What a splendid idea. There are only 3 villages in the north. White marshes farther north by the western road, Gale rocks by the northern coast, and creeks in the far east. Bring me news from these places and you will get my answer. I can do that. Tell me, how do people dress in the city these days? Is it similar to what we have here? Before the war, the merchants were wearing those really long dresses and robes, way too long for my taste. They got mud stains after every rain, and I see no reason to keep shoes completely hidden. Not anymore. There's always a shortage of fabric. Most people wear tunics in the old days. For years, there was not enough hemp and wool at hand, so people have started to wear furs again. As far as I can tell, many folks wear headgear. I'm sure I don't pay attention to fashion. Not anymore. At least we can hope that if the visitors arrive, they won't We won't stand out much. She laughs, but also adjusts her dress, drawing your attention to its superb quality. And who knows? Maybe our little village here could help those going to help those unfortunate clothiers. I'm sure we could spare a couple sheets of fabric. Have you heard of the necromancers in the north? Taps her fingers on the table. Yes, I have. After I ask her to tell more, she seems to regain her confidence. You mean White Marshes, for sure. I don't know all that much about what's happening there. We avoid their lands if we can. She frowns. I shouldn't gossip about it with strangers. We can talk about it on another occasion. She's waiting for me to learn more about the raids in the north. Tell me about Howler's Dell. It's what it seems like. The greatest village in the far north. She raises her hand and makes an inviting gesture. Oh my god, I'm knocking over my fucking milk cup again. At least it's empty this time. Shit. She winks at you, but is suddenly interrupted by the pained cry of a little boy who hurt his knee during a fall. As an amused elder tries to calm him down, the mayor shrugs it off and titters, then meets your eyes again. Life's good here. We have what we need, and a lot of what we want, building on top of more than 12 generations of hard work and bravery. What the fuck is that? Oh! Hello? What do you want? Yeah? Did I leave the door open? Hi. My cat's here. My cat never comes down here. Hi, I left the door open, didn't I? Hello. You just come to announce that, you probably want me to put more food in your dish. Oh, man. I thought it was a crying baby at first. Glad it was just my fucking cat. She spends a good few minutes telling you about Malflins, wheat, rye, hemp, cheese, and wool, proud of every glimpse of prosperity. Whenever she mentions an artisan, shepherd, or farmer, she doesn't miss a chance to mention how significantly she improved their conditions. She also omits some topics. You hear no tales, songs, ancestors, rituals, or days of prayer. It's like listening to a tax collector. Only at the very end of her speech does she mention the wisdom of the elders, now kept in the teachings of the druids, who help her guide those who trust her. They heal our wounds in our gardens, she explains, but then changes the topic to all the fruit trees, hares, and nuts in the woods. When she's done with it, I nod politely. We talk and talk, but I still don't know where you are from, Silas. What's your story? Have you lived in Hoblabon all your life? In a way, I know it as well as any other city folk, but every spring I train in horsemanship in a nearby village. Only for a bit. I was raised in a small village just nearby and moved to the city after I decided to look for luck as a Roadwarden. I'll go with that second one. To see the city for the first time after being surrounded by a couple of small houses and fields is a strange feeling, isn't it? She puts her hand on the table. Even after my second winter, there I felt like a stranger. But those who know how to live in the countryside close to the wilderness, we will always find a new home for ourselves, don't you think? Hope the keyboard doesn't start to stink like sour milk tomorrow. Yeah. I don't think it will. I think I got the milk off of it. Like, I don't think I got any in. I think it just got on some of my keys. It mostly ended up on me and on other parts of my table. Like, my keyboard had been shoved back already. Hilariously, I knocked it over on my crackers, and they're all soggy now with milk. So I've got these crackers now. I put them in a container, and I'm going to have to stick that container in the fridge and give these crackers to my kids tomorrow with their soup. Which is fine, because the soup that they tend to have is like either tomato or mushroom soup, and I make it with milk, and then I put crackers in it. So, I mean, it's already a milk-based soup. So, some milk-infused crackers that have been sitting in the fridge so that, the milk doesn't sour will be fine. But it's just kind of funny. Oh, man. Anyway, we always find a new home for ourselves, don't you think? She gives you an encouraging smile. I want to know what it would make her consider joining Hoblabon. I can consider it right now. While she laughs, her eyes remain keen. But if you want me to give you some answers, let's see. She looks up to the right. Oh, now there's a child. Theatrically raising her chin. Some gestures of goodwill will be a great start. Since you're the guild's messenger, I need to know you can be relied on. She gives you a wide, white grin. Okay. Well, we're going to go now because there's a child waking up. And I will see people next time. Bye-bye.